Hey everybody, I'm Jason and welcome back to my channel. So a couple years back I purchased a parts tractor and it came with a bunch of implements, including this 3-point hitch post hole auger. See, the ground around here is dense clay and I'm kind of getting too old to dig holes by hand anymore. I just want to build a pavilion for my sawmill and need to set some concrete pilings down before winter sets in, so I've got to get this thing working again. This old beast has clearly seen a lot of use over the years and is definitely in need of a little bit of love to get her back up and functional. The old fella I bought it from went over it pretty carefully before it got here to make sure that the U-joints and the gearbox was okay, but the rest of the repairs were going to be left up to me, and the price reflected that. As with most old machinery, the most important thing is that it's complete and that the basics are there to work with. This one has everything needed to run again, so I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it. When everything's done, I'm hoping to get this 12-inch auger to deliver holes at least 36 inches deep, maybe 42 inches if I'm lucky. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get to it. First thing I want to do, it'll make things a lot easier, is I want to mount the main body of this auger onto the tractor and then do all my fittings from there. But before I do that, I have to deal with this end here. You can see where the weld has given way. It doesn't look like this happened recently either. This has been like this for quite a while. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean all of this up and re-weld all the all the cracks, and I think that'll be fine. I'm not going to use this thing very heavily. I've got a handful of holes I want to dig, and I'm just going to have to keep an eye on this. So yep, first step, clean that up, give it a nice weld, and then I can mount this whole thing onto the back of the tractor and get to it from there. Next on my list is see all that play that's in there? Like there's a big space between this and that shaft. Now I don't know, maybe this auger, isn't a complete set, like maybe the drill portion is off of another thing. I really don't know, but I just have to take up that space so it's not quite flopping around as much. I've got a bigger bolt obviously to go through here, but right now I got to worry about making a spacer for in there to take up some of that slop. Now obviously I don't want it too tight, but it's got to be better than that. Alright, here's what I've come up with to take care of this slop. So this is a 1.5 inch, this is a 1.5 inch pipe, black pipe. Oh, it's a little bit long, I guess. It slides in nicely and it goes into the bottom part, which is a little bit narrower. Okay, and I drilled a couple holes in it for a 1/2 inch bolt, and this fits really nicely, within reason. And that takes up a lot of that play. It doesn't have to be rock solid, but probably shouldn't be rock solid, but that will make things just a little bit more stable as I'm drilling, right? Just mark it here, go downstairs and put another hole in it. Alright, just drilled her out, and while I was there I thought about it. I thought,
I can drill a hole even further down. So I drilled one 12 inches down, so I should be able to get a 48-inch hole, I guess, for those times when you really need one. So yeah, this is pretty versatile, and this should work perfectly. So that would win if I put that in there, and that would be for a 48-inch cut. A little shaky, but you know, better than nothing. And then this will be my regular spot. I have to find one more 1/2-inch bolts or anything, but I probably got one laying around downstairs. Well, I did have a 1/2-inch bolt of actually the perfect length downstairs, so I can bolt that one on solid. This one, I'm just going to hang on because I have to check the other end to sharpen it. And gosh, I'm almost done. Well, I still got to work on the PTO shaft. Yeah, this PTO shaft is this is the part that slides inside the other. It's a little bit crusty, so I'll just give it a hit with the grinder, angle grinder, and it should slide in and out a lot better. It kind of gets stuck right now. See, it's a bit pitted. Okay, so what I use there is it's actually a 3M Scotch-Brite roll-lock pad. I've used these things before. They're awesome. They take the rust off, but they really won't dig into the metal at all. So they're great for this kind of thing because, you know, this is a semi-machined surface, so I'd like it to keep sliding in and out nice, so I don't want to dig it up too much. So I'll just put a little bit of grease on that, I guess, or a little bit of oil, slide it back in, it should be fine. Okay, let me show you how this thing came to me. So what's been going on is this this spline goes onto the PTO of my tractor, and it keeps flying off as I'm using it. So I looked into it a little bit deeper, and let me show you how this came to me. So this little plunger is in here, okay, and then there was this really rusty spring like so, and then the whole thing was surrounded by this black electrical tape, which was kind of like this, trying to hold the whole thing in place. Okay, so you know, kind of farmer guyvered. So the point of this pin, when it's all the way in, is it fits into a slot on the PTO spline. Okay, and when you want to release it, you just push this other side and it goes out of the way, and then you can take it on and off. What is supposed to happen, here, let me back you up, you understand that? This spring should be in like that, see, and then it pushes it out, okay? And then when you push this in, it pushes against the spring, moves it out of the way, and then you can put it on or off, and then when you let go, it pops back on, right? Like so. The problem is, there's no way to retain it on this side anymore. Okay, so what I need to do is replace this spring because it's awfully rusty, and then put some kind of a cap on there so that it holds it in place. Now, I have found another spring that's the right size. Okay, I'll just have to cut it down, and that's no big thing. But then I'm going to have to make some kind of a plug to go in there and hopefully hold it in. So cleaned it all out in Evapo-Rust last night, and I was kind of hoping, but it doesn't look like it's the case, that there was a groove in here that would take a little clip, but that's not what's going on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all this up, okay? See how it's kind of shouldered in there? I'm going to make a plug. I'll turn it on the lathe, you know, make sure that it all fits in there so that goes in nice, all right? I'll hold it in place, put the new spring in, put the plug in, and I think I'll just take my MIG and I'll just zap it in 2 places, and that should be good forever. honestly, maybe 4 places, so that if I ever do have to get it apart, I could grind it off, but it doesn't need a whole lot of pressure. It's just pushing against that spring. So that's the plan. I just got to clean out this little circle so that I can fit something in that goes onto that that shoulder, and I think I'll be good to go. So I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I cleaned out that little opening. I also had some sharp edges on this pin, so I cleaned them up. So that will go in like so. And then I think I can use this whole spring. It'll be a little bit strong, but hey, strong's okay. And I made this, well, I didn't actually have to make it. The end mill I used, so the end mill I used was 1/2 inch, and this is 1/2 inch. So I cut off a little piece. That should go in just like that. Hold it in place. I'll tap it down. Just give it a little test. I don't know if okay, it works great. So all I'm going to do is take my MIG, put a couple of spots on that to hold that in place, maybe grind off these sharp edges, and that'll be done. And there we go, all cleaned up. Once again, I've never advertised myself as a professional welder. I'm a guy that owns a welder and knows how to tack pieces of metal together. So that's good enough. I mean, there's not much pressure on it. I'll slip some lube down in there. I might just take a wire brush and clean up these splines just a little bit, but it's not that bad. And then that'll be good. Maybe I'll hit that with a little bit of black paint just to make it stand out. And yeah, awesome. So on to the next step. All right, let's take a look, see what's going on with this cutting head. Looks to me like it's just worn flat, like the leading edge here isn't the first thing that's hitting the ground. It's got like a heel here. What I'm gonna have to do is maybe grind off some of that heel. You know, if worst came to worst, I could probably weld another plate onto that to give it another edge, but like I say, I'm not going into business drilling holes here. I just have about 5 I want to do today, and you know, maybe the odd one here and there. I guess if it doesn't work out, or if I start running out of material, then I'm gonna have to start thinking about that. But right now I'm just gonna take the angle grinder and take off some of that heel just so it's got a bit of an edge to lead, and see how that goes. Well, that's going to have to do for now. You'd have to do an awful lot of grinding to get this thing sharp, and I'm starting to get into the really thick part. So I think I've wore through, or somebody else, it's new to me, right? Somebody else has wore through that to the point where it's almost out of sharpening. So I'm probably going to end up having to either weld a plate or mount a plate onto, I guess, this side that extends out a little bit. Probably do that out of tool steel. But honestly, I have 5 holes I have to drill, and the ground's pretty soft right now, so this shouldn't really be a problem. Maybe what I'll do is, after I'm done with it, I will bring this auger down into my shop and have it lined up for something to do on a snowy day this winter. But right now I just want to get these holes dug, and I think this will be good enough. Alright, here we go. So I shortened up this bolt. It was sticking out probably an extra inch. Zipped it off. Still a bit long, but it'll do. Last thing I want to do is hopefully See if I can check out the fluid in this gear unit. So, oh God, it came. I don't believe it. Ah, it's not that bad. Stick this. Oh, not going in far, I'll tell you that. Oh yeah, there's some. It's more than half full. I'd say it's got to be good. So it looks like it's okay. I'm not too worried about that. And with that, I believe we are good to give it our first hole attempt.
All right, so there it is. 12-inch hole. It's a little more than 36 inches deep. Not quite straight up and down. I'm not going to lie to you. It's off just a little bit, but I can clean that up and, you know, set her up and get a tube in there and get my first one set. I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of tightening up on this thing, especially this joint right here. There seems to be quite a bit of play in it, and maybe adjust my arms so that I can get this thing perfectly straight up and down, and hopefully that will solve most of the problems. But as I use it more, I'll catch on. I'll learn more, and I'll get better. So luckily, this first little project I have isn't really all that critical. These are just pilings, and these are 12-inch holes, and I got lots of play. And I got a shovel, and I've got a clamshell, so I can, you know, I can adapt until I get this thing dialed right in.
All right, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this stuff, please subscribe.